Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I've been asked to talk more in depth about what's going on with people jumping on a bandwagon saying that Moses married a black. First of all, it is true that Cush is an ancient name for Ethiopia, but we have to look at the maps and overlays of the boundaries of that area. We also would like you to look at the fact that Ethiopians are not Africans any more than Okinawans are Japanese. They're a completely different race. Go to Ethiopia and find out for yourself, like I have. You'll also find out that there was multicultures living there 1,000 years before Moses. You'll find Ethiopians in there. You'll find Arabics. These are found by archaeological digs, as well as the seventh from Adam, the book of Enoch, also found there. Now, Enoch was way before Moses. And his book and his church was already there 1,000 years before Moses, or close to it. So we know that just because she was in that land does not mean that she was black. Now, that might, some uneducated people is going to say, well, that guy, he's prejudiced for saying that. No, I'm not. I'm looking at the facts, the reality of everything. I don't take one paraphrase out of the Bible and try to shove it down everybody's throat for my own agenda, which seems to be the popular thing to do in the last 45 years. Right now, I'm telling you the truth. It doesn't say what race she was. It just says she was a Cushite woman. There was different types of Cushites, just like there's different types of Americans here today. That's all I'm saying. Just because, oh, he's marrying an American, well, he must be white. That's the same thing you're saying. Doesn't mean that, though, does it? That anymore than it did back then. So let's take the race issue out of that whole scripture. And let's look at the rest of the Bible, as we know that prophets have sinned too. Moses threw down the 10 Commandments, cracked them. Moses tapped the rock, and or didn't tap it, he was told to tap it. He smashed the rock with his cane. And then God said to tell the people that it came from you, and he said it came from the Lord, so he didn't obey orders like he should have. But he was a high prophet. High priest back then didn't marry. And then as I read it, prior to all this issue with Miriam, his sister, and Aaron, his brother, having issues with him marrying a Cushite woman, was this. High priest, first of all, even today, don't marry. We give all things to God. And threaded throughout the rest of the Bible, you'll see that interracial marriage was strictly forbidden. You can go to the prophet Ezra, E-Z-R-A. You can look up chapter 10, verse 2, for example, and 10, verse 3. They married foreign women and had children. And God forbid it. Who are they to pervert God's creation? There's lots of other places I can't cover on this tape right now because I don't have enough time, but it's all through the Bible. There's other people that met strangers. Abraham messed up as well when he lied about Sarah going into Egypt and about having sex with his handmaid and having a baby named Ishmael, and they were told to leave too, just like in Israel. So when you read the whole Bible, I mean, you can't, Moses may have messed up, and he was forgiven, but he may have messed up. No matter who it was he married, whether it was white, black, from Egypt or whatever. And as far as what they were eating prior to that paragraph, there was lots of people who died and lots of people getting leprosy. And after God came down and talked to Aaron, Moses, and Miriam, Moses' brother and sister, prior to that, they were saying he married a Cushite woman. Okay, so, and then what I think angered God wasn't that. It was the fact that he questioned the prophet, which was, they said, a little jealousy got in there, evidently, because they said, the Lord talks to Moses and didn't talk to us. And then he comes down and he talks to all three of them, and the conversation is just about that. He talks about, I come in visions to prophets and dreams, but Moses is not like them. I talk to him straight with no riddles. So he's explaining that his method was different with Moses to the other two prophets that spoke to God and listened to God. So in my reading, the way I take it, the Lord was mad at Miriam for questioning, thinking things like that about God. It wasn't about who her brother married or didn't marry. I mean, he was going to take that up later with Moses, just like he did when Moses got angry, he threw down the Ten Commandments and cracked them, and when Moses smashed that rock and some other things that he did. He killed a slave slave owner by smashing his head in with a rock. These are not, but that's not necessarily, a sin to kill someone. Puts you close to judgment if they're an innocent person. But the whole idea to jump on the bandwagon just because the Bible does not tell you what race she was. It says what land she was from. Some of the Cushites, when you do your homework, you'll find out believed in pagan gods. And then some of them believed in the church and was very religious, very strict about interracial marriage. If you go to Ethiopia and you go into those churches, they'll tell you that interracial marriage is not right. Most of your old churches tell you the same thing. And as you read it and get the whole picture and the whole mind of God, I think you come out with the same conclusion. So basically, he loves you, all of us, like the rainbow. And who are we to pervert it? Genesis chapter 6, Satan and his 1/3 raped the women. Prior to that, back in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, he puts enmity between thy seed, the devil's seed, and the woman. So we know, if you do an in-depth study, that the devil did have a seed. I believe there's also mentioned in Matthew's, where he talks about the devil's children, the devil's seed of his children. Another tape, I'll throw out the more concise. The problem with these tapes are they're too small. I mean, I don't have enough time to go through them all. I mean, it'd take me a couple hours. But I'm going to throw it out there so you can at least have a area to read. It's probably better for you to look it up so you can check what I'm saying anyway against the Holy Bible. I've been around a long time, and I don't expect you to take any man's word, whether they're a prophet or not, without holding it up against the scriptures, because there are many false prophets. So it's probably better this way anyway. I'll put out there what I believe, what I've read, and I will tell you and not lie to you. And you can go that direction and check me out. But make sure you really do read it. You know, many people tell you that, well, they can't create. Then you read Genesis chapter 6, like what? Well, there wasn't any other people here. We were confined to a little garden guarded by angels. When we came to this planet, Adam was created because they were afraid of what? There's nobody else here. Incest was forbidden from the beginning. The Lord comes into play when Adam was created. He is our human Lord, Lord of Lords, King of Kings. So, I don't want you to believe that we're all created the same, because we're not. The deceiver wants you to believe we are, but we're not. We're not at all. We're all different, like the colors of the rainbow. God likes it that way, and who are we to pervert it? If we used interracial marriage all the time, we'd wipe out one of God's creation, right? Destroy is the way of Satan. Deception is the way of Satan. The father of lies is the way of Satan. So you figure it out. I'm just a messenger. Have a good day. May God bless each and every one of you. And remember, He loves us all. But don't think you can sin and keep sinning and make it to heaven. Only the few, only the choice make it to heaven. The narrow, less traveled path, as it says, is the way to heaven. The wide, well-traveled path of good intentions is the way to hell. Do not go around jumping on bandwagons, no matter how popular it is. You have to have enough faith in God to read and research and be wise. Before you leap. Have a good day. God bless you. Foreign domestics always out here.